It is Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends at Shady Rays. Not only the best looking shades in the entire business, but when you break them or when you lose them, they will replace them. Back from vacation is the irreplaceable Trevor Plouffe, along with producer Rob and intern Sam. First of all, before I start with the fishing, did you lose your beard in the ocean? What happened?
I trimmed it down, man. You know, sometimes you go away and you feel that sun on your face. I just wanted to show off this tan that I got, see Rosie, but I'm back from vacation. Yesterday wasn't even in Cabo, dude. I was outside of San Diego yesterday. I figured, look, I pronounced the Mariners dead, right? And then they come back to life. So the only thing I could do was to become a Mariner. So that's what I did.
How'd you do? Wow.
Check that pick out, babe. We caught 12 bluefin tuna yesterday, which is like, you don't get those days very often.
Did you bring any home?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
by the way, those are your brothers?
The one on the right, far right of the picture is my brother.
I didn't know that Dallas Keuchel was your brother.
Dude, my brother would eat Dallas Keuchel. It's a big boy.
Yeah, Jesus, that beard is frothy, man. Good for you guys. So I'll try the tuna.
You're going to get some, dude. I'm going to probably have over 100 pounds of tuna. So
I'm a huge tuna. I love tuna. So
then you're going to get some. I promise that.
Send it over. I'll put it right in the freezer. We're going to go to work. I love it. All right, let's get to it. I know that you probably didn't see a ton of stuff, but I know you always do your homework. And we got to start off with yet another fascinating but odd story on the south side of Chicago. The White Sox, they lose their opener of a big set in Cleveland. This is just hours after the players had to defend a Bob Nightingale column that questioned the lack of leadership in the clubhouse, and that the players have been complaining about their manager, Tony La Russa, and also a lot of the management. Then they go out and they lay a stinker. They're down 5-0 after the first inning. They end up losing by 4 runs in Cleveland. They're under 500, but they're in the worst division in baseball, arguably, and they still have a chance at the wild card. However, big picture, is this season salvageable?
You know, this is crazy. All this stuff coming out that Bob's talking about, you kind of see it from afar. You know, when you watch the games or maybe you read between the lines in some post-game interviews, stuff like that. Like, it's just been a weird time on the south side there because there are so many talented players that just kind of haven't been living up to their abilities. I mean, if you're looking right now, I mean, Johnny Cueto coming in, whenever he did, like, he's been one of their best pitchers. You never would have thought that at the beginning of the season. I don't know if it's because I picked them, Chris, to be in the World Series. I don't know if I'm stubborn to give up on talent. I don't know if it's because of the division they're playing in and because I don't necessarily believe in the Twins that much, but I do think they can still come back. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the division, if it's going to be the wild card. Like, there's still opportunity for them to come back, but they got to right the ship very quickly because we're approaching the All-Star break, which means there's still what, like 70 games left, something like that. 75, 80 games, something like that. So there is time, but they have to change some things. I mean, they got to start playing aggressive, hard baseball. They have to continue to get healthy. Things have to go the right way for them. We just saw it with the Mariners. I mean, things could happen in a freaking snap. How high we were on the Angels and how low we are now. How low we were on the Mariners, how high we are now. It's like things can happen in baseball, but, if there's trouble in the locker room, in the clubhouse, they got to figure that out, and then they got to go do it on the field too.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you look at teams' deficiencies, you're trying to figure out, well, what piece could we add that would make a difference? How many pieces would you need to add to the White Sox right now? You look at that and you're like, well, their bullpen, they've got veterans back there, guys that have done it at every level. I understand they're missing some guys, right? Garrett Crochet, I thought was a huge miss for them this year. But they've got a lot of talent in that rotation. Once again, veteran laden all over the place. Dylan Cease is having an amazing year. Should have made the All-Star team. The areas where you look at him and it's like, Yasmani Grandal's been horrible and isn't healthy. And then at second base, those are the only areas where you would seemingly add a little bit. Okay. And I don't think you need to add a ton at those sort of places. What you need to add is team that gives a shit. Like, I've watched them play a lot of baseball. There's not a lot of energy with this team. And I know it's easy to pinpoint that and say when there are a few games under 500. But listen to Ozzie Guillen. right? Former White Sox skipper. He does the White Sox studio. Okay. So he is there to help prop up the team, to help, gloss over all of their mistakes and say it's going to be okay. This was Ozzy after the game last night.
I can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear this.
Tony, come on. Just wake up, man. Believe me, I'm sorry. You're my hero. I love you. But if I'm manager and one of my players do that thing, I will let them know exactly what they need to hear from everyone. Mm-hmm. Right after they show the panel, the camera during the game, I don't know if they want to be there.
That's some pretty serious shit that he's saying. He's calling out Tony La Russa, who he said is his idol. Like, dude, get this house in order. He says when he looks in the dugout, he sees no energy. That's as damning a statement as you can have. And this guy's supposed to wear White Sox colored glasses.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, it truly is the case of, the leadership not being there, the energy just like not being given by someone. I mean, that can come from a couple different places. And what I believe is that should come from the clubhouse. So if there's somebody there that needs to step up and call a players only meeting or just get in somebody's face and blow up, whether it's planned or not, like that needs to happen. Like there needs to be some, like a jolt of energy shot in there. Now, could Tony La Russa do that? I don't know if he can. I don't think he has the ability at this stage to go into that clubhouse and command it. It sure as hell doesn't seem like it, right?
Well, hold on. Tony La Russa is a Hall of Fame manager.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because most of the guys playing don't know that. They don't know. They never saw that part of him. They see him as he is now. And I don't think he can get in front of that room and really command it. I really don't. So that means
that
like
the problem. We've talked about this countless times. We know that Jerry Reinsdorf isn't going to do this a second time. He's not going to. He says it time and time again. Getting rid of Tony La Russa in the 80s was the biggest goof I've ever made.
That was 40 years ago.
I know, but dude, you can't tell a billionaire what to do. He's not going to do it.
I'll tell him what to do. Why not? Why can't we tell a billionaire what to do?
All right. So before we move on, are you saying that the only way they reverse this trend and not only get to the playoffs, but beat either the Yankees or the Astros, who we believe are the two favorites in the American League, is to change managers?
No, I'm not saying that. It could come from the clubhouse too. Like, I don't know who it has to be. Like, if it's Abreu, if it's Lynn, if it's Giolito, like Giolito, if Giolito got in front of the clubhouse and started calling dudes out and saying, this is what we need to do, it would carry a lot of weight. Like, somebody has to get up there in front of everyone and rally the boys. And it can't just be a one-day thing. It can't be a two-day thing. Like, this is an energy that they have to, what the hell is their record? 41-44. Okay.
The Orioles are better than them. The Orioles are better than them. And the payrolls aren't close.
Okay. So they still got 57 games. That's maybe bad math. I have no idea. That's not even close.
No, they've got way more than 57 games.
77 games. 77 games. Okay. I'm still foggy from yesterday. It's still a lot of baseball to be played, but it has to come. I mean, yeah, it could, like, if Tony can command the room, do it, Tony. I don't think he can. I think it has to come from Lance Lynn, Abreu, Giolito, Tim Anderson. I don't know. Somebody has to do it, and it has to be day in and day out. It can't just be like a one-day thing. That doesn't work like that.
All right, let's move on from the White Sox to the Red Sox, who will get Chris Sale to make his season debut tonight down in Tampa Bay. Confidence level that Sale returns to his old form as a top-of-the-rotation guy in the second half of the season.
I'm not super confident he's going to return to like old form, old Chris Sale. I mean, if you remember how good Chris Sale has been, I think it's going to be daunting for him to do that. But I don't think necessarily the Red Sox need him to return to that. He's coming off TJ, and then what was his thing in spring training?
He had a rib issue, and then he had something. He had a rib issue, and then he had some other undisclosed health issue that we don't know about that delayed his return.
They just need him to come and be a presence on the mound. Like, obviously he's going to have his stuff. Like, Chris Sale is a pitcher that I believe can reinvent himself many times over just because of the funk that he has. He could do a lot of different things with his pitches as far as adding and subtracting. He doesn't necessarily need, elite velo to do what he does. It helps. It really helped him early on, but I think he can pitch his way and be very productive this year. They've sent, I think, 5 of their last 8 games rookies, starters. Like, they just need somebody that's been out there and can like get a little bit deeper into the games to save the bullpen. I think Chris Sale's going on 85, like an 85 pitch limit tonight. So go give him 85 pitches, ramp yourself back up a little more. He doesn't need to be top of the rotation. He just needs to be a guy that can rely on to get in there and give him 5 or 6 innings. And I think he can do that 100%.
I think he needs to be the top of the rotation guy. And that's why I'm skeptical. Since the end of the 2019 season, he has thrown less than 45 innings total. Last year, he came back. I think he appeared in 9 games. He threw at least 6 one time. He needs to be that guy to get them deeper into games. He just needs to. I mean, I looked at that team, and they were playing great in June and then early July, and then the last week it hasn't been great. It's kind of been up and down, inconsistent. I look at that team and I say, well, how do they get on the sort of run that they had last year? Remember, they were up 2-1 on the Astros in the ALCS, so they were 2 wins away from appearing in the World Series. Do they have it in them? I don't think they do as presently constructed. And I said on this show last week that Boston is one of those teams that I wouldn't want to play come October. But the caveat was if Chris Sale returns to being Chris Sale. And I'm just not so sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of look at the numbers last year, I know he's coming back from a different injury this year. If they got what they got out of those 9 starts last year, they'd be very happy. And I agree with you, they would help them exponentially if Chris Sale came back and was top of the rotation guy. I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think they just need some length out of him. We'll see if he can give it to him.
It was funny. I saw his interview. Did you see his in-game interview with the Fox crew and his former teammate, AJ Przinsky?
Yeah, he handled it well.
Yeah, it was fine. I thought he was fine with it. I thought, he was like, I'm trying to get a Samsung deal out of this. And with the TV, he played along. It was cute.
I like it. Hey, is Whitlock coming back as a reliever, or is he going to be a starter? I thought the notes were he was going to be a reliever.
That's what I thought too.
I don't know. I mean,
well, Eovaldi's coming back soon, isn't he? Too.
I thought, yeah, I believe so.
I mean, he's supposed to. Baseball Today presented to you by these guys over at Shady Rays, which is changing the way that you wear your shades. Best combo of fit, style, and performance without the big brand price tag. Here's one thing I love about them. Every pair is backed by lost and broken replacements. That means that if you sit on them or if you lose them, even on day one that you purchase them, they will send you a brand new pair. And of course, with that crazy protection program, we can tell you that these shades have some of the best quality we've ever had resting on the bridge of your nose. On top of that, the purchase will warm your heart. And what do I mean by that? Shady Rays provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order. To date, they have donated more than 20 million meals. That is an amazing job by this company, and you can help do some good in the world as well. So what I want you to do, go to shadyrays.com, use the code word today for 50% off 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. You are going to flat out love them. I haven't met one person who is like, man, these Shady Rays, they suck. But if that person exists, you can return them for free within 30 days. So there is no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. The team always has your back. So go out, look great, warm your heart, and when you break them or you lose them, like I do about 5 times a year, guess what? They're not going to leave you out in the cold. You'll be looking as good as new in no time. All right. The reason I'm wearing a Mets hat is because the Metsies took the first of 3 in a huge series, which means that they will at least leave Atlanta with the division lead. Max Scherzer was dominant again. 1 run, 3 hits allowed in 7 innings, 9 more strikeouts. He does his thing. His 2 appearances since he came back off the injured list have been nothing short of sensational. How surprised are you, even though it's Mad Max, that he has been this great?
I'm not surprised, dude. I don't know. He's just one of those guys that's going to be good for a long time. He works very hard. I'm looking at his Baseball Savant page right now, and what gets guys in trouble is a dip in velo, an extreme dip in velo. He doesn't have dominant early on Max Scherzer stuff where I'm looking right now. At one point he's averaging, 95, a little over 95 on his 4-seamer. He's still right around 94 miles an hour on his 4-seamer, which means to me, you can play off that pitch and throw all of his other pitches that he can command for strikes. And that's why he's so good. I mean, they're nasty. He knows how to pitch. He still has enough velo for you to respect everything. So you can't just be sitting on one speed, one cadence. Until that velo goes and he has to kind of reinvent himself, like I was just kind of talking about with Chris Sale, he's going to be able to do what he does. Like he's just a very knowledgeable pitcher who happens to have extremely nasty stuff, and he has the pitchability and the feel too. So like until I see, another mile and a half drop off that fastball, I think he's got everything he needs to be a dominant starter like he always has been.
Do you remember when he first came up?
Yes.
Okay. What was the knock on Max Scherzer?
Like all over the place, maybe?
All over the place. He could not find home plate. It kept moving on him. Do you know how many walks he's issued since he came back in 2 starts?
Not many.
Zero. 20
20
strikeouts and no walks. Like I thought for sure when he was down for whatever it was, 6 weeks, hadn't made a start since May 18th, and then he goes to early July, that something would have happened. Like he would have lost a feel or something. 20 freaking strikeouts and no walks at age 37. Like how many? It's the beauty of sports, man. You've got Tom Brady still lighting it up at age 44. LeBron James doing what he's doing at, I think, soon to be age 38 in December. And a guy like Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander doing what they're doing at 37 and 39, respectively. Pretty awesome.
It's not normal, and it's a testament to how hard these guys work. We don't really think about that with pitchers. I joke around with pitchers all the time about you got every 5 days you got to go to work. But like a guy like Max is doing a lot of things behind the scenes to keep himself healthy. And he, to be honest with you, is fascinating because this offseason, he was at the forefront of the players' negotiations, doing all that, while getting ready to perform in a season. He's one of those guys that, put everything you can on his plate. Doesn't matter. Like he's going to come out and just perform. That's what he does, dude. This guy is, I know we give him a lot of praise. See, Rosie, I don't think we give him enough praise. Like we don't talk about Scherzer in the way we talk about Verlander or Kershaw. We just don't, for whatever reason. But
he keeps adding to his resume at a different speed than Verlander and Kershaw.
He's almost at 70 career WAR, 68.8 career WAR right now.
That's pretty remarkable.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Before we move on topics, I want to give one more tip of the cap to another Mets pitcher, Edwin Diaz. Was working his 3rd straight day, and what did he do? Struck out the side, and it wasn't like the bottom of the order that he took care of. It was the big boys that he struck out. Real quickly, 73 Ks in 36 and a third innings this year. That means he is striking out 2 guys every inning that he works. He also has more strikeouts than Madison Bumgarner, Taijuan Walker, Michael Kopech.
Wow.
Those guys are starting pitchers. He is a reliever.
18.1 strikeouts per 9. I just went to his page. I didn't believe you right there. I was like, what are you talking about?
Hey, dude, you have to have a special season going if you are a reliever that's going to win the Cy Young Award. I think if he continues at this rate, you have to seriously consider him for the Cy Young.
There's a lot of good relievers out there right now too. I mean,
not doing this.
To take away from Diaz. I mean, Helsley and
they're not doing this. They are
not striking out 2 per
this.
inning. No, but damn,
they're not doing that.
231 ERA plus. That's pretty good. Attaboy, Diaz.
Names trickling out for the home run derby. Pete Alonso, even though he was not named to start, voted in as a starter, said, okay, well, I'll try for my 3rd straight home run derby. Juan Soto's doing it. Ronald Acuna is doing it. And Albert Pujols in his final season reportedly is doing this. Is that the biggest news to come out of Home Run Derby Fest for you?
It's news. It's going to be fun to see that. I like I think it's going to be really funny to see. I mean, look, all respect to Albert Pujols. Obviously, we know this guy is
here comes a butt.
Generational. But these young guys can swing the bat. I think we're going to see a little bit of a difference in bat speed when they get those slow-mos and all the stat tracking going. I'm curious to see how it does. I mean, the way they do it now, like you can get tired. You can get tired doing that. We see each guy take a timeout in what they do. I think the bigger news for me is Pete. I want to see Pete try to 3-peat.
Aw.
I mean, that's really cool. Like this could be a guy who just racks up $1 million every year taking BP in front of a big crowd. I mean, he's kind of made for this.
Kind of. I mean,
this is what I want to see. Like, I think I want him to
kind of like saying
that
Roman Reigns is made for the WWE. Yes. I mean, that's exactly it.
I want to see someone come and try to dethrone Pete, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. That's what I'm very interested in that.
All right. So a few things with the home run derby. Genius move several years ago when they put a clock on it. It gave it some immediacy. The timeout is always fun. People are yelling, timeout, timeout. We never have a timeout in baseball. Dave Joust is going to come back and pitch to Pete Alonso, which is really cool, even though he's no longer on the Mets staff. I like that. As far as Pujols goes, no problem with it. I think it's fine. You know what? It's going to be a fun day. You have to have somebody to root for. I've seen some home run derbies and covered some derbies where there isn't a local guy to root for. Pujols, because of his half season with the Dodgers and his time in Southern California and being such an icon in the sport, everybody can get excited about him, even if a Dodger doesn't compete. I would still like to see a Dodger compete. I think it's important. Huh? Yeah.
Max Muncy? I don't know.
I think Muncy, because of the whole injury thing, probably isn't going to do it. If I would make sure that Bellinger gets in there. What are you going to ruin his swing?
They might fix it.
Right. So
I think if they're going to put anyone from the Dodgers, maybe you do like a Justin Turner people would go nuts to watch him in a home run derby.
Ooh, I'll have to reach out to him and ask if he would do it.
I mean, he reinvented himself hitting home runs with his A swing. Like he is one of the swing revolution kings. I would love to see Turner in there.
I'll tell you one other one, and it kind of flew under the radar last week when he said I would consider it, is Giancarlo Stanton, who is an LA kid.
He has to do it.
I agree.
He does. I mean, he is LA's guy.
And I think he hit one out of the stadium one time when he was with the Marlins.
With the Marlins, yeah.
So, yeah, no, I would love to see that. So there you go. Speaking of homers, congratulations to Josh Smith of the Texas Rangers. Hit his first one in the show last night as Ramon Laureano dove and came up empty. So the ball trickles all the way to the wall in center field. And Josh Smith didn't even have time to enjoy his first show homer. Do you feel for him?
No, because that's nice. Still in the box score says 1 with the homer there. So you get to enjoy that. Look, now the pressure's kind of off. So yeah, you didn't get to, watch his first one. It wasn't a big towering shot, but once you see that ball go past the outfielder and it's not an error, like when he dives for this ball, it's a hit. So now how fast can I go? How far can I go? That's a really good feeling in its own. I never had an inside the park home run, but when the ball gets by the outfielder, I thought I might get a homer. I just wasn't fast enough. He actually got around the bases though.
I think it would suck.
Like right about there, he's like, okay, I'm going home.
I really do. I've asked almost every guest on the show about their first homer and what happens when you're circling the pillows and they're like, oh, I black out, or I tried to look up and see my family. And it was just such an amazing moment as you're just just the idea of, you guys practice your home run trots when you're kids. You think about what it would be like to hit one over the fence. And this guy had to fucking get on his horse and make it home. That's tough go, brother.
That is true. I do remember my first trip around the bases, floating in Cleveland. Fausto Carmona, formerly Fausto Carmona. Mm-hmm. Turned to Roberto Perez, I believe.
Yes.
Or was it Roberto Hernandez?
Roberto Hernandez. Millar's first one, it's amazing. His first homer was an inside the Parker at Wrigley Field. Oh, God. It came off of Rick Aguilera, former reliever.
Okay. Yep.
Millar's dad was bowling with Rick Aguilera's dad at the time.
Were they watching the game together?
No, I mean, this is 1998. So
no TVs?
No, but I mean, I think they were both in Los Angeles, and you're not going to get a Marlins Cubs game up, I didn't think.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty sure. But how crazy is that?
That is really crazy. Did they grow up together? How did the dads know each other?
I don't know. Chuck Millar knows everybody around town. Chucky M. A little interesting. All right, what do you have coming up on John Boy?
We got the midweek episode of Talking Baseball. We're filming that today, and that'll come out tomorrow. And then it's just back on the grind, dude. I know I've been on vacay. I apologize to our listeners that I've been missing some days, but hey, I'm back. I don't think I'll miss an episode the rest of the year, Chris.
Wow, that's good because I'll be missing a few in August. Busy schedule, but
I got
don't
you.
ever apologize for doing family stuff. Ever. You don't ever do that. Like you're doing something for yourself. You're gonna go golf.
Like go fishing.
No, that's with your brothers.
I know it is with my brothers.
I love that. I love that you.
He loved it, by the way. He was complaining about what we were gonna do in the morning of. He didn't think we were gonna get these type of fish, and then, dude, we were on them.
Guys,
on them, Chris. What about you? What do you got?
Latest episode of the Rose Rotation with David Bednar is out. All-star Pirates closer. Grew up in Pittsburgh. Talks about how he's dealing with the idea that he might get traded by his hometown team. Real interesting discussion there. Also, a quick yesterday we had the Cleveland catching tandem of Austin Hedges and Luke Maile. They're like a freaking comedy act. Holy shit, were they funny? They were great.
They were on together?
They were on together. Like combined, they're hitting 300. We joke around about that. But and they did it from in front of the batting cage. There was part of me that wanted to say, what are you guys doing there? But we had a great time. They were hilarious. I mean, really funny. So that's coming out on Thursday. And a quick reminder, the entire John Boy Media crew is migrating west for next week's All-Star game. There's still a few tickets left for that VIP at the bar at Boomtown Brewery, downtown Los Angeles. So go check it out. That'll be from 2:30 to 4:30, and then we'll have an open watch party. We hope for you to come out and say hi and hang out with us. So go check that out on our social media channels, okay? Okay.
Yes.
For our outstanding producer, Robbie Scirocco, our summer intern, the one and only Sam Singer, who's enjoying the posh life up in upstate New York these days. That is Trevor Plouffe. I'm Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday on Baseball Today, presented to you by Shady Rays.